Okay, so good morning. You know this class is going to be in English. Any questions that you might have, you can ask any questions. I will not speak Spanish in the whole class, so I prefer that you ask questions in English or Spanish. If you have a problem in asking questions in English, you can ask in Spanish and my answer will be in English. If my answers, you don't understand my English, you can ask questions so I can explain some details in Spanish outside the class. I speak Spanish and Catalan outside the class, but not inside, okay? My name is Sergio Calzamiglia. My office is in the 3rd floor. And if you have any questions when you develop your exercises, we can sit down and discuss anything. I'm normally not sitting in my office, so what I would suggest is if you have problems, you write me an email and then we can say, let's meet at 1. We can meet at any time, but I would appreciate if you write an email first, because many times I'm in the university, but not in my office. You won't find me. If I'm in my office, I'll probably be busy. So this is my email. So today class is a 2 hours class. The first hours will be an explanation of how a dairy farm works. What can you do at a dairy farm, and how the animals grow and produce milk, and what you have to do. The second part of the class will be to teach you or to show you how a computer program works that is almost like a game. You know Tamagotchi? It was a little dog that you had. So it's something similar to that. So my intention in the first hours is to give you the background of how a farm works. The second part will be to go into the program and play for 1 hour so you can practice. When we finish all this process, then you will have an exercise to do in the next 3-4 weeks, something like that, that you will have your own farm. Each of you will have your own farm, and you will have to manage your farm for 150 virtual days. Doesn't mean 150 real days, but you can do 10 days or 20 days in one same day. You will have to manage the farm. You have to make decisions. Which, do you want to buy an animal? Do you want to feed more, less? Do you want to send an animal to the slaughterhouse? Or the whole idea is that by the end of this exercise, you should have a very or relatively good idea of what happens in a dairy farm. Okay? So, what I will do now is dedicate the first hour to explain you how is the normal life of a cow, from birth until he or she goes to the slaughterhouse at the end of the productive life. Okay? So, the life of an animal starts at birth. When the animal is born, let's say you get a female, and these females are usually about 40 kilograms of body weight. When the animal is born, you always have to do the same protocol. All animals, the day they're born, you have to take the animal and disinfect the navel. This is the cordon umbilical. You have to disinfect it with iodine, same as in humans. Second thing you do is you have to put a label. You have to identify the animal. Same in humans, they put them as something so they don't mix the animal. So you put a tag in the ear, that will be the identification. You have to notify to the government, like a cow is born, his number is blah blah blah. And the third thing you have to do is to give colostrum. And there are many different protocols for colostrum feeding. In the program, we're going to feed 2 liters of colostrum 2 times a day during 2 days. So 2 liters in the morning, 2 liters in the afternoon, tomorrow 2 liters in the morning, 2 liters in the afternoon. If in your farm you have one of these animals born and you forget to disinfect the navel, you will lose 1 point. If you forget to put the label of the tag, you will lose 1 point. If you forget to give colostrum, you will lose 1 point. Yes?
What is colostrum?
Colostrum is the first milk. So when the baby is born, the first 2 days the milk is very different. It looks more like, it's the difference that you would see between a yogurt and a Greek yogurt. It's a lot more dense, it's more rich, has more fat, has more protein. The important thing about colostrum is that it contains immunoglobulins. Now in humans, when we are born, the placenta allows the transfer of immunoglobulins. So a baby, a human baby, after birth, he is protected with the mother's immunoglobulins. Colostrum gives additional protection and is good. But if for any reason you don't have colostrum, the babies have some protection. In ruminants, in dairy cows, the placenta does not allow the transfer of colostrum. So if you don't have colostrum, it's very possible that the baby cow will die in the first 10 to 20 days. Mortality, if there is no colostrum, is between 15 to 25%. So between 15 to 25% of the cows will die. If they have colostrum, mortality is below 3%. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay? So it's very important. This is the reason that if you forget this, I'll take a point off. If you put the tag, the government will fine you. So I will fine you too and take 1 point off. And if you don't disinfect the navel, you have good chances of having an infection, and that's the reason I'll take you 1 point off. So it's not complicated, okay? So these last about 2 days, and I like to call that as a newborn. Like in humans, babies are born, and the first 2 days are in the hospital. If by the second day everything is fine, then they continue. Okay? When they continue, you change them location. You take the calves and put them in a different place. And from that day on, they'll be basically eating milk. You will have to give them every day 2 liters of milk, 2 times a day. And that will be approximately for 60 days. Okay? So, you have to take the animals from the newborn to the, we call it lactating animals, the lactation, or the milk fed period. In most farms, what they do, they have powder milk. Like in humans, babies, when they finish their breastfeeding, they have powder milk. So they have powder milk for about 60 days. In addition to the powder milk, you put them a bucket with concentrate. In the first 10-15 days, calves don't eat any concentrate. They don't like it. They have milk. Why take it? But when they get older, they get bigger in size. 2 liters of milk 2 times a day is not enough. And they start getting hungry. And they go to the bucket and smell and say, I don't like it, I'll wait till tomorrow, and they wait. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But when they are 15, 20 days, they're very, very hungry, and they eat concentrate. This is not on purpose. We want to keep the amount of milk good for the first 10, 15 days, but these 4 liters of milk a day is not enough. So what we are trying to do is to force the animal to start eating solid feed. Because solid feed is cheaper and it's easier than liquid milk. Liquid milk means that you have to prepare it every day at 39 degrees, feed it to the animals, clean the bottle. It's a lot of work. If you have solid feed, you put it in the bucket, big bucket for a whole week. You put it Monday, you don't have to worry about food anymore till next Monday. So farmers want to try to get the animals used to eat solid food as soon as possible because it's cheaper, the food is cheaper, and there's a lot less labor, so it's also cheaper. Okay? What is the strategy? 2 liters 2 times a day, a bucket with concentrate. In the first 2-3 weeks they don't eat any concentrate. After 2-3 weeks they will start eating concentrate. One day, so what you will have to do in your program, that's what a farmer does, is after 2 days you have to take the animals from this location to this location. And you have to tell the computer to feed 2 liters a day, 2 liters every time, 2 times a day. Okay? Is it clear? A baby, when he's born in a hospital, after 2 days goes home. Because the time in the hospital is expensive. To be in a hospital is expensive. So what are you trying to do? If the mother and the baby are healthy, they go home. Okay? This is exactly the same. Okay? So, at some point, you want to stop feeding liquid milk, and you want to keep everything with solid because it's better. The question is, when do you decide that you can, it's called wean, destetar, wean, or weaning the calf. When do you decide to wean the animals? The criteria is not age. The criteria is, I want to stop feeding milk when I know that the calf has the capacity to eat a lot of concentrate. So when the animal is adapted to solid food. So there's a lot of research that has done. I'm going to wean the animals at 4 weeks, at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. And if you do very early, then you have a problem because the digestive tract is not used to solid food only. But you get to a point that they're completely used. It's exactly the same with humans. You try to give a little bit of solid food and slowly they keep adapting. Now the criteria is that when the animals eat 1 kilogram of solid food, that's a proof that the digestive tract has the capacity to digest solid food. Which means that you have to look every day if there's any animal that is consuming 1 kilo, and then you have to move this animal from the lactation period to what we call the growing period. Okay? Yes?
So when the animals start to eat a day 1 kilogram, you finish with the lactation?
You stop lactation. Next morning they don't have milk. The truth, the reality is that when they go to 1 kilo, you continue 1 week with 1 time a day 2 liters for an adaptation, and then after a week you go to 0 milk. Okay? In the program we say 1 liter, finished. But most people do a 1 week intermediate. Okay? So if you have an animal that is eating 0.7 kilos of concentrate and you decide to wean the animal, I'll take your point off. If you keep an animal and wean the animal 1.2, I will also take you a point off. Question?
And when do you start the weaning? When it's eating 1 kilogram?
1 kilo of concentrate.
But you must slow the concentration of milk.
Well, the thing is that the animal, let's say today the animal is eating 2 liters of milk 2 times per day and 0.9 kilos of concentrate. Next day you do the same. Imagine next day you get 2 liters today and 1 kilo. That's fine. Next day you just feed concentrate and 0 milk. So you have to look every day, is there any animal consuming 1 kilo? If it's consuming 1 kilo, you change to the growing period. The truth is that the consumption of concentrate goes like this, that between 0.9 and 1, maybe you have 4 or 5 days that is consuming 1 kilo. So it's not every day. So it's not that every day changes. Okay?
And that's after 60 days.
This is around 60 days. It depends on how the program works at random. Some animals grow faster than others, like in real life. So the criteria is not they're big or not, or if they are 60 or 65 days. My criteria is I want to make sure that the digestive tract is prepared, and that's 1 kilo. Okay? Is it clear? So what do you have to do? The first day you have a lot of work. At day 2 you have to change. And at 1 kilo consumption you have to change to growing. What happens the growing period? They eat and they grow. It's exactly as having babies. When they are newborns in the hospital, intensive care, you go home and for 6-7 months you're very careful, they're eating milk, you put some solid food, but when they are starting to go to school, you don't have too many concerns. The concerns will come later on, and we will see, they will come later on, but that age, from the growing period until they have a baby, it's not a very complicated life for this animal, not for the farmer. So you put them in this period and they keep growing. So when will be the next time that you have to do something with this animal? The next time you have to do something with this animal is when she goes to puberty. Because the objective of this female is that she will become a cow. The difference between a calf, that's the baby cow, the calf, or heifer. Heifer will be the name for the young cow, not a mother yet. Okay? So this will be a heifer. And a cow is when you've already had a baby. Okay? So it's the name. So with this heifer, your only concern is that you want this heifer to get pregnant as soon as possible. Because your objective is to produce milk, and to have milk, you have to have a mother having a calf, and then take the milk to make your business. Okay? So I want this animal to get pregnant. Of course, when the animal is 2-3 months old, she's not pregnant, she's not in puberty. Let me just make it smaller. So you get 60 days, 1 kilo, growing period. Puberty will be somewhere around 10 months. That will be normal time for puberty. But would you inseminate an animal just the first time that she's cycling? Do you think that will be normal? Think about humans. Would you get a, let's say, girl pregnant at 12 years old if she's cycling? You don't do it. Why? Why do you do it? Is it a social thing or?
No.
Is it good for her?
No.
It's a problem of body maturity. You need to have size. You still need to finish your growth in order to get pregnant and have a normal pregnancy. So it's not a social statement. It's a health problem. So if these animals start cycling at 10 months, we're not going to get her pregnant. We're going to wait until she's fully developed. And if you think about a 12 years old girl, it's obvious that she still needs to grow more before you get her pregnant. So we do exactly the same, because if you get pregnant an animal here, she will be small, she will not eat a lot because it's small. If she doesn't eat a lot, she will not produce milk. So it's because it's not good for the health of the animal, but it's also because it's more profitable. So most farmers in the world would never inseminate an animal young, because it's not good for the animal, it's not good for the business. So what is the criteria to say I'm going to artificially inseminate my animal? Because 99.9% of the animals in Europe, in Spain, in the US are inseminated artificially. There's no bull to get the animal pregnant. So what is the decision? Age? What do you think? It's basically size. It's a combination, actually it's structural development, which is not only size, might be weight, might be height. So it's a combination of body weight and height. So if you get an animal that has enough size and enough body weight, then you will inseminate her. So what happens after puberty? So anybody knows how many days is the cycle in a cow?
9 months and 9 days.
The ovary cycle, not the pregnancy.
21.
21. It's 21 days. So every 21 days, the animal will cycle. If I'm going to do artificial insemination, how do I know that she is in the right day for insemination? If you have a bull, the bull knows that she is in the right time. But how do you know if you don't have a bull?
Because the behavior changes.
The behavior changes. Okay, this is the main criteria. You have to think about, in nature, what usually happens is the female, when she is getting close to the ovulation day, she starts to send messages. Could be noises, could be smell. I mean, they are smell. And what that's trying to do is to attract the males. So the males come. But that day, the first day that she's starting to say, hey, I'm going to come in heat, we call it heat. We call it heat. When they come in heat, the strategy, the natural strategy is not, I'm in heat, the first come is the winner. No. The first that comes is the winner. No, I want several to come here. I want to fight, and I want the best. It's natural selection. So the animal stays in heat for 2, 3, 4 days, but only one is a good one. So you see these National Geographic reports that you see that the females will say, I'm here, and they go away. And I'm here, and go away. And it's a point that says, I'm here, comes the male, and she stops. So she's trying to get some time to generate competition. And after this time, she said, the winner comes with me. Okay? So when the female is ready to accept the male, is one period of time within 4 or 5 days. So you will see that animal in heat will have like mucus in the vagina. That's very easy to see. But that's only one of the 4 days. That's not a good day. You see that she starts playing with others because there's no male. Well, if there's no male, she will start playing with females. But they start playing, chasing each other, smelling. They have this behavior change that is very clear. The problem is that this behavior, it's 4 days, and it's only 1 day that is really fertile. The way to know the right time is that the female, when she's ready to accept the male, and somebody comes and tries to jump, to try to mount her, she would stop. If she stops, that's a clear indication that she's ready. So she will be for 2, 3 days, another female will come and try to jump, but she will run away. That's almost close, but not yet. When somebody comes up and she stays quiet, she stays like this, then she's ready to accept insemination. So basically, you will have for 3, 4 days what we call animals playing. They will be smelling each other, kissing each other, they chase each other, but at a certain point, one of the females, because there's no male in the farm, will jump in the back of another female. The one that is under, she's ready to be inseminated in the next 12 to 18 hours. Okay? Is it clear? So you will have to check every day if there is any heifer that is showing symptoms of heat. If she is staying down, means that she's ready to be inseminated. So you will inseminate if she is 350 kilos and 127 centimeters. This is measured here. So between here. Okay? This is called the cross. So you see a female that is jumping. She weighs 365 kilos and 124 centimeters. And you inseminate her, I'll take you a point off. Because I said 125 and she's 124. You say, but it's enough body weight. Well, you need both to inseminate. You need 3 things, 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So imagine you inseminate the animal. Is she going to get pregnant?
Yes.
Maybe. There's a probability of getting pregnant. How do you know if she's pregnant or not?
Because they stop of tribe, the insemination.
They will not show change in behavior
Yes.
immediately?
Yes.
Well, if you inseminate it on day, let's say day 0, this day, they will never show heat because in between the cycles, there's no symptoms of change of behavior. The behavior changes only 2-3 days. So she gets pregnant and after 1 week, you don't know, she will not have a behavior. But you don't know if they don't have a behavior because he's in the middle of the cycle because she's pregnant, you just don't know. When is the first time you think, maybe she's pregnant? In the next cycle. If 20 days after, she's not cycling, you say, she's pregnant, because if she's not pregnant, she will be showing sexual behavior. So, I don't know if she's pregnant or not. I can wait till here. If she doesn't show the heat here, could be 2 reasons. 1, she's pregnant. Maybe she's not pregnant, but she doesn't show behavior. It does happen that animals, maybe they're sick, maybe they have a disease in the leg and they don't want anybody to go back because it hurts. So what you have to do is to check after 21 days all inseminated animals to see if they're pregnant or not. But at day 35, after insemination, so that would be, if you inseminate here, after 35 days, you can do a gynecological exploration and find out if she's pregnant or not. It's exactly like in humans. In humans, if at day 28 nothing happens, you're concerned. At day 35, you go to the doctor and does a test and tells you yes or no. So you will have to check at day 21, because if she's showing signs of heat again, you know she's not pregnant and you have to inseminate her again. If it's not the first time, it'll be the second time. If not, it'll be a third time. But you have to inseminate her. And to confirm that there's no error here, at 35 days, you just do a pregnancy diagnosis. In cows, normally it's done by rectal palpation. You put your hand in the rectum. The rectum is just above the uterus. You touch it. If it's big, there's a baby there. If it's very small, there's no baby. Okay? Is it clear? So you will keep cycling every 21 days until you get a confirmed pregnancy. What do you do when the animal is pregnant? Wait 9 months for the calving. Usually no very complicated period. They just eat, leave, and after 9 months, they will return back to the calving. So what you have to do, first day, go to work. Day 2, change it to the milking period. When they consume 1 kilo of concentrate, to the growing period. When they have the criteria for insemination, inseminate. You do pregnancy diagnosis, and then 9 months in calving. Clear? Any questions? Now, what do you do if this cow is not a female, but it's a male? Day 1, you do the same. There's infection of the navel, you put a tag, you give colostrum for 2 days. After 2 days, you go to the milk-fed period. But the truth is a dairy farmer, a farmer that produces cows to produce milk, is not interested in males, because they're not their objective. So what they want to do is to try to sell it to a different type of business that collect those animals, grow them and produce meat. So we can eat steaks or hamburgers. But the law says that you cannot do that before 8 days. Why? Because the law protects that a newborn with 2 days, she should stay in a place not very, no stress, taken care. And after 1 week, 8 days, you can sell it. Okay? If you don't sell your animals by 8 days, I will not take your point off. But you will be spending 2-3 euros every day giving food to this animal, and your richness will be decreasing. So you have to send those animals to the slaughterhouse. Otherwise you're going to lose money. Because you lose money, I'm not going to take extra points. This is the same that a farmer does. Yeah, you can keep it if you want, but you're spending food that is not necessary. Okay? And this food, they 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30, till 60 days is expensive because it's milk. Okay? And that's the life of the male. It's sold to a different farm with the objective of producing meat. Any questions? Yeah.
So you must wait 8 days
8 days.
before.
Actually, the program, if you try to do it before 8 days, you cannot do it. And the reason is a legal problem. Because the farmer would like to get rid of the animal in the first 3 hours. There's no objective. So let's go with the mother. The mother gives birth, and the normal practice is that gives birth, you take the calf, and the calf is separated from the mother immediately. You take the colostrum from the mother, you go to a different place where is the baby, and you give the colostrum separately by hand. No direct colostrum feeding from the mother. The reason is that you need to provide these 2 liters of milk 2 times a day, and make sure there is 2 liters of milk 2 times a day. If the animal is taking the milk from the mother, you don't know if she's eating half a liter, 2 liters, 5 liters, you don't know. And in fact, the mortality is a lot lower if you give colostrum by hand than if you leave the animal with the mother. So the idea is that because you cannot control how much they eat, there are some young calves that they don't eat enough colostrum and then they will die. So what is the normal protocol? Separate them as quick as possible, give colostrum by hand. If the animal is very weak because it's small in size and cannot drink the milk, you open the mouth, you put a tube, and you put directly in the stomach. So the colostrum is, or you eat it, and those are the 2 options. Okay? So the mother basically immediately goes into what we call lactation. This is days. This is kilograms of milk. And the mother produces milk following this profile. So she will start with a little bit of milk the first 5 days. That's normally preserved for the calf. It goes to the calf. Then after 5 days, you go up very quick. You go to the peak, and then goes down slowly. That is called persistency. The persistency of the lactation curve. If the cow does not have a problem, and that will be 80% of the cows with no problems at all, these animals have no major concerns or problems. They just eat every day, they milk every day, they have a normal life, no major concern. But there's a percentage of animals that they have problems. They might have problems at calving, and then they have problems related to the uterus or vagina that will create problems, infections. They might have an infection of the mammary gland, mastitis. It's another common problem. With those animals, you have to take medical care, but the other percent is not a big concern. So most farmers don't know they're good cows, because good cows don't have problems, you don't know them. Farmers know the bad cows, the ones that have problems, because you have to do a personal care, okay? So, the ideal situation is that all this period of milk production until next calving takes 1 year, 12 months. Okay? After 12 months, I would like to have another baby and another lactation curve. The difference is that if I don't have another calving, basically what I'm doing is having periods of very low production instead of having a lot of production. So today we accept that the optimal, or what we're looking for, is 1 calving for a year, every year, 1 calving at 12 months. Does anybody know what is the gestation length of cows? 9 months, same as humans. If you want another calving at 12 months, when do you want to get her pregnant?
3 months after the...
3. So 12 minus 9 will be 3. If I inseminate the cow at 3 months after calving, is she going to get pregnant at the first time? No. So what people do is they usually start at 2 months. Some will get pregnant at 2 months, and that will be 11 months. Some will get pregnant at 4 months, but you're looking for an average. For your purposes, for your program, you will have to inseminate any animal that has the criteria to be inseminated. That means it's letting another one to jump in the back, okay? It's clear? So if you see an animal that is ready to be inseminated, you inseminate. If you don't inseminate an animal when it's ready to be inseminated, I will take you a point off. Okay? And the story is the same as heifers. You don't know if she's pregnant, you'll have to wait 21 days. Even 21 days, she's showing heat behavior. You inseminate again. If not, at 35 days, you do pregnancy diagnosis. So the same story I will not repeat. Clear? So she gets pregnant. She continues producing milk. Between one lactation and the other, the mammary gland needs to have some times of rest. We call that dry period. Dry because there's no milk, the mammary gland is dry. If you don't do this, if you continue producing milk and arise at calving, then the animal will do like that. Because the mammary gland is very tired, she will not produce enough. And because this is so clear that this is much better than this, today everybody in the world knows that between 2 calvings you need some resting time for the mammary gland. This dry period should be 60 days. 60 days of dry period. So, when you have days of gestation minus 60, you have to dry the animal. So that will be 280 minus 60, 220, you dry the animal. Gestation length is 9 months, it's 280. You want to have the last 60 days of gestation with the dry period, which means that when you are at 220 days in gestation, you have to go and do something, dry the animal. In practice, what we do is to take the animal, give them lower quality feed, we restrict water, and because they're not eating a lot, they're not drinking a lot, milk production goes down and they stop milking. Okay? They will be for 60 days doing nothing, preparing for next lactation. In practice, farmers don't do this every day. They organize their farm and, for example, they say, Monday is the weaning day. So all the animals that had to be weaned in the last week, they're weaned on Monday. Tuesday is drying cows. So Tuesday, all the cows that were on the criteria to be dry, on Tuesday they are all dry. So they organize their work not to be, you know, you have to take the animals and take some food and take some milk. If you have to do that every day for a different cows, what do? You do it once a week. Which means that for you, this 220 is between 220 and 226. And this is 7 days, 1 week. So if you dry one animal at 219, I'll take you a point off. And if you dry an animal at 227, I will take you a point off. But if you dry the animal anywhere between 220 and 26, you're correct.
Can you repeat this?
So, the right time to dry a cow is 220, to have 60 days dry. Okay? That would be the optimum. 60 days, I mean 60 or 55, it doesn't matter. It's about 60 days, not mathematics. So what farmers do in practice is, on Tuesdays for example, they say, if an animal gets to 220 on Friday, they don't dry it. They wait till Tuesday. So Tuesday they will dry all the animals that had to be dried between last Wednesday and today. They dry them off. Which means that they will be drying animals with 220 days gestation, or 21 or 22 or 23 or 24. Do you understand that? Is it clear? So what you have to do is, any animal that is between this and this, you dry it. If you forget and an animal was 227, you lose a point. If you do it too early, okay? Is it clear? Any questions?
During the lactation period, how much milk does the heifer eat?
You mean the heifer, the young animal,
Yeah.
in the lactation period?
Yeah.
The milk, we give the milk to them 2 liters 2 times a day, 4 liters a day. And that's, in the program it's set it that way. If you go outside, some people will give 5, some people will give 3.5, some people now is giving 6. So there's variation. But let's say we have to be, let's say, square, and we're going to find 2 liters 2 times a day. Any other question? There is another thing that happens in farms that is important, is that some animals get sick. And that will be a good reason why you're studying veterinary science, because you have to treat. So because you don't know pathology and you don't know pharmacology, the animals in your farm are going to have only one disease. But I want you to know that the animals can get sick. If you treat the animals, they will recover quick. If you don't treat the animals, they will recover very slowly. You will only have one disease that is called mastitis. This is an infection of the mammary gland and is probably the most frequent disease in dairy cows. If you have mastitis, you have to treat with antibiotics. During mastitis, milk production goes down. The animal is sick, production goes down, so you're losing money. If you don't treat mastitis, that will last for 30 days. During 30 days, your production will go down. If you treat with mastitis, in 5 days, the animal recovers. So what you have to do is to make sure that you check if there is any animal sick in your farm. If the animal is sick, you have to treat with antibiotics. In the program, it's very simple. It says antibiotics for mastitis. If you would be in 3rd or 4th year, we will start thinking which type of antibiotic. But for today, you treat with antibiotics. Now, what is the problem of treating a cow with antibiotics?
That you can take the milk that
You cannot sell the milk. So, this milk, you have to give an instruction to pull it off the tank. So most of the milking machines, milking rooms, have automatic control by computer. So you have to sit at the computer and tell the computer for the next 5 days, the milk from this cow should go to another place. So when the milk person is milking the animal, goes with an electronic tag and says cow 527, milk has antibiotics. The worker has to change the direction of the milk and throw it away. Okay? What happens if you forget and the milk with antibiotics goes to the tank? It's illegal. Like in football, you get a yellow card. Second time, a red card. So you get a yellow card. And normally, in most farms, the big trucks that collect milk for Yet Nostra goes to your farm first, collects all your milk, takes a sample, small sample, goes to your farm, takes your milk, and it's mixed, but takes a sample, goes to your farm and goes to your farm, and when the truck gets to the Yet Nostra, legally they analyze the content of antibiotics. If they find antibiotics, they throw all the milk, because it's all mixed, away, and then they will analyze individual samples. If it's your fault, you're going to pay for your milk and your other 5 farmers. What is the result? Today, the detection of antibiotics in milk is something as simple as a pregnancy detector. I don't know if you've ever seen these pregnancy detectors. You put a drop of milk, you wait, if it's a minus, no antibiotics. If there's a plus, there is antibiotics. All farmers in Europe, before they collect the milk, do this test. It costs €2. But if you make a mistake, you're paying a lot of money, like 3,000–4,000 euros. Okay? So, because today the technology makes it very easy to identify antibiotics in milk. Many times you hear outside, oh yeah, the milk has a lot of antibiotics. That's not true. It's impossible you have antibiotics in your milk. Very difficult. When I was a kid, I used to eat a lot of antibiotics, I suppose. But after the year 2000, when there was a control of milk quality, it's very difficult, it's very expensive to make a mistake. So, what you have to do, you have a disease, you have to treat, you have to separate the milk, and you have to remember 5 days after to return the milk. Because if nobody tells the computer after 5 days the milk is ready to get back into the production, then you're going to be throwing away milk, throwing away money. Clear? Any questions?
Do we have to give the animal the antibiotics 5 days or only 1 day?
One time. Okay? That's different depending on the type of antibiotics. There's some antibiotics that are given every day for 3–4 days. And they're called short-term antibiotics. Today we have some what they call long-action antibiotics to give it one time and is released slowly. So it depends on, they're more expensive too. And then there's antibiotics that they have a very short life, so maybe instead of 5 is 3, but they're more expensive too. There's some antibiotics, maybe they have 6 or 7 days, so you have to decide. In our conditions, we use the standard antibiotics 5 days. My objective is that you understand that animals get sick. If you don't treat the animals, they'll be sick for a long time. Eventually they will recover. Normally they'll recover. If you treat, the length of the disease is shorter, but if you're treating with antibiotics, you have to be aware of the importance of antibiotic in milk. You have to take it off and remember to put it back. Any questions? So what we're going to do next is to try to get into the program and show you how it works and play with it. So the objective of the rest of the class is play a little bit, create a farm, and get to 3, 5, 7 days so you can see how things change in the program, okay?